of the Church of Satan. So maybe the company is clean as a whistle, but maybe sometimes powerful people slip into high places. I want you to understand that they are very, very highly educated. Notice this interesting term. I have never dabbled in witchcraft. I have never been intrigued. I've never practiced in any way. But a good general will study his enemy to understand how they think so that he knows how to commit the battle when they meet on the battleground. So I went to the local library and decided to read up on the witchcraft and to see what they believed. I was very unfamiliar with this fact. Every time I brought it up, speaking in cities across the United States, no one has heard of this term. Let's read it. It's very important. The old "un" is a dialect term used to indicate the devil. Yet the old religion, that's a way of saying witchcraft, yet the old religion, with its root in nature, its nature worship, still lived on in the hearts and minds of the people. This way of referring to the devil as the old "un" is an instance of this. And here's the documentation. It's from a book printed in 1973. I acquired it at the branch division of my local library. It was missing soon after that. I've learned that occultists would rather steal their literature than purchase it. So, I got to thinking about this old term, the "un." And I said it's very well known in their language, in their communication, that they referred to the devil as "un." There is a deviled ham product. I won't mention it by name, but you could guess what the first two letters are. There's another very well-known product that men use. They purchase these products to fix up their house. There is a devil on the cover of all their paint cans, all their products, and of course they're located at Union, New Jersey. And that begins with two letters, UN. I decided to be bold. I wrote the Church of Satan. I told them I needed an application. They probably thought I would be a member right away. Please notice a few things from the header of the return letter. I have the application. If you're thinking about joining, see me later. I'll get you a copy. Please notice, here's that infamous inverted pentagram. The red circle is very important to the occult. It symbolizes the sun. It symbolizes sun worship. You may not think that's important. I have a dozen to 2 dozen ads where the sun is in the advertisement and the number 666 is also in the advertisement. You may notice there are hundreds of companies in the United States that dot their I, if they have the letter I in their name, with a small red dot. One oil company has one letter that is red and it stands out from the rest of the letters. Enough on the inverted pentagram, enough on the circle. Please notice there are Hebrew letters around the points of this inverted pentagram. I guess Satanists are intellectuals. It appears that they may know something about foreign languages. Please notice the post office box. Is it a coincidence? My question is, why would the postmaster allow some society, but you know we have freedom of religion in America, why would he allow someone like the Church of Satan to acquire a box number 666? Please file in your memory what state it is in, because we're going to do some wordplay on this state in just a moment. But for this little part, please notice the inverted pentagram. Let's go to Washington, D.C. This is the headquarters for Eastern Star. There are 2 inverted pentagrams in the iron grill work around the building. Even the ironwork has inverted pentagrams. I wonder about those fine ladies. Have they ever questioned anyone about the symbol for their organization? I think they need to band together and find a new one. Let's do a quick study from the Funk and Wagnalls Standard Dictionary of Folklore about a character named Pan. Not everyone is familiar with this character Pan. It is actually a term used for the devil in Greece. You might remember the cartoons or drawings about Pan. But there are some things we need to note. In this little definition about Pan, we learn 2 or 3 important facts. Number one, he was over reproduction of the flocks, usually the goat and the sheep. A lot of these occult groups are protecting what is known as fertility worship. We won't expound on that. You adults know exactly what I'm talking about when I say fertility worship. He had horns. He could only be found in the darkest forest if you went to search for Pan in the noonday sun. He was always in the darkest place. His mere presence created such fear, it is the origin of the word, panic. That's the origin of the word, because of the great fear he created. But this is 20th century America. Why would we begin to mention someone named Pan? Here's Pan on the cover of Vanity Fair. Again, here's Pan on the cover of the New Yorker. Not saying anything against these magazines. I read a lot of New Yorkers. It wasn't meant in any evil fashion. It's just showing that Pan is very well known, even if you make a cartoon or some little remark about Pan. But what is Pan doing in the middle of Indianapolis, in the middle of the concrete jungle downtown? Remember I said Pan dwelt in the darkest part of the forest? Right in the middle of the concrete jungle in Indianapolis, there's a statue of Pan in the trees. He's always found in the deep, dark forest. Also in Indianapolis, someone was playing word games, I believe, because there's Pan's consort, Diana. You can find the word Diana in Indiana or Indianapolis. Word games are prevalent in secret societies. Remember, we're looking for this creature named Pan. This is the Washington Cathedral. This is where your politicians go to worship on Sunday morning in Washington, D.C. It can be located by going to the highest point in Washington, D.C. It's interesting to me because in the Old Testament, the prophets of Baal, were always worshiping at the highest point. I went in and talked to the female reverend briefly, but please note how high, how tall this cathedral is. Please note the 2 doors at the bottom. Notice above the doors there is some type of sculpture. I won't hold this up too long. Actually, if you figure out what it is, it's very provocative because there are nude men and women in the sculpture over the doors where the people enter. I have enlargements, but we won't show them. I wonder what they worship at the cathedral. But I had to go looking around to see what I could find. So I went to the garden where the trees and the shrubs, and here was Pan at the Washington Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Probably just a harmless little statue. In 35 years of research, the biggest shock to come to me was that the people in secret societies and occult underground groups seem to know more about Scripture, seem to know more about Bible than people who carry one and profess to be God-believing Christian people. Now, they're very, very well versed in their beliefs and Christian beliefs also, and they love to play word games. Of course, Pennsylvania is named for that great man that had liberty, religious liberty in his state, William Penn. But please note that the Romans had another name for Pan. They called him Sylvanus, Silenus, Sylvan, Sylvan, a sylvan compass. There are towns in this country called Sylvan Grove because it's where there are trees. On this map you will note the largest national forest in the state of Pennsylvania. Both words can be punned into Pennsylvania. If you're very observant, if you look close, you would have noted that the route number is 666. Here's a product advertised in Life magazine, 1955. It's called 666 and it's for head colds. I have ads going back to 1937 advertising this product. I wonder why people would choose such a number for a product. Don't they think they might offend Christian people? I mean, everyone is familiar with that infamous number mentioned in the book of Revelation. Very few Christians realize the number appears twice in the Old Testament.